Good morning and welcome in. This is Lumina Gem Live, and we are actually live today. My name is Leslie Nafusi. It's a very exciting weekend here at Lumina Gem. I'm here with Rebekah from Earth Pebbles. Rebekah, tell me about yourself.
Hi, I'm Rebekah Anderson, and I have been a gemologist and a modern day treasure hunter for about 35 years. And what I do is I find vintage and estate pieces, and I repurpose, refurbish, and bring them back to life and tell their story, and hope they find another home.
That is a perfect way to sum up exactly what you do, because I've been listening to you all morning, and I've been hearing such amazing stories about some of these estate pieces that we have this weekend. Let me get some housekeeping out of the way. Lumina Gem is open from 10 to 5 today, August 17th, tomorrow, August 18th, 11 to 4 on Saturday. The estate sale goes on for all 3 days. Everything in the store is 10 to 20% off, so the estate pieces, but also all of the other inventory that we have. So come in, take a look, shop around. It's very exciting. Once a year estate sale, so happy to be here. Rebekah, please take me through, we're talking recently about these conversions, as you call them. Everything here has a really great story, but tell me about some of these pieces that you've made over here.
Sure.
We'll take a look.
So vintage and estate jewelry is so incredible to begin with because it's all one of a kind. So your girlfriends or your friends are going to love what you have and want it, but they can't get the exact same piece because they don't make more than one.
That's right, exactly.
So these are some of our conversions. We take things that people don't wear anymore, like brooches and stick pins, and we'll convert them into pendants, or sometimes we'll come across an old diamond like this, and it was converted in the 50s to this ring. So that center diamond is like 2 carats.
Wow.
An old European cut in the 1800s. And then this ring, it was repurposed to in the actual 1950s. So it's what we call a married piece.
I see.
These were brooches, and we converted them into pendants, and you can wear them long or short. They look great layered, and they look great with jeans and a t-shirt. Love those.
Those are statement pieces.
Yes, they're really, really great.
I love the story behind these. These is really, really fabulous.
So this is something that we're kind of famous for, is stick pin conversions. So back in the 1718 and early 1900s, stick pins and hat pins were a necessity in your wardrobe. No one wears them anymore. So a lot of times they just go unused and discarded. We started collecting them and acquiring them, and this tray here is from actually the 1800s, these pieces. And we've converted these stick pins into pendants. And we also convert them into rings. So these two were actual stick pins. We take the pin portion itself, and that's what we make the shank out of.
Isn't that interesting?
So we use the whole pin,
smart.
and they're all handmade back in the 1800s, early 1900s, and they make great stacking rings just for fun, and the price points are great because we're not adding any new material, we're just creating labor to them.
Amazing. And Rebekah, I'm impressed with your memory, because you have seemed to internalize a lot of the stories that go along with the pieces that you sell. And you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
How many years?
35 plus.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You have a Rolodex in your mind of different pieces, which I think is interesting. It's nice that you share the stories. If you had to choose a favorite decade, do you have one?
I do. My personal favorite decade is the 1960s, 1970s.
Okay.
And it's just my vibe.
Yeah.
And it's what I identify to. And I just love the big gold and the excess of, things that are just unusual and crazy and not practical.
Yes, right, totally.
Yeah.
Not practical, that's perfect.
Right.
Like, something like this piece. It's just so stunning and gorgeous and very cool.
Yeah, this is such a great piece. He almost became mine, but it's hard.
Yes.
But he's signed, and it's a great panther and 18 karat gold from the late 70s. This is from a designer in Switzerland his name is Paul Binder, and very, very strong in the 70s, early 80s, really cool pieces, all hand fabricated. And this particular piece is just a great story. This is a fantastic statement architectural tourmaline ring. It weighs well over an ounce of 18 karat gold. And people find me because I saved the jewelry. And there was a couple, actually a brother-sister, who came into my shop. And their aunt was a artist in New York City who just was very flamboyant. And she had many male admirers. And whenever they wanted to get her something, she would always end up with something very unusual. So never had any children. And she left everything to her niece and nephew who owned a pet store. They brought me the pieces because they knew I would share her story and continue the journey of the jewelry. And they revamped the pet store, and in her honor, that's what they did with the proceeds.
So they had all this jewelry, and they said, well, we're not going to wear it. We really don't know what to do with it. They came to you. You took on the pieces, and you shared their story, and then they were able to do something that they wanted to do. So
in her memory, which was awesome.
So jewelry comes to you in interesting ways. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. People just sometimes they don't know what they have, right? And they say, right, please, Rebekah, tell me what this is.
Yeah.
Tell me what this is and what you can do with it. So each piece has a history and a story. Any other piece in here that you want to highlight? I know there's plenty of time, and you'll be speaking a lot during this weekend to many customers.
Well, one of my favorites, again, I love all jewelry, and it doesn't have to be heavy and super expensive to be really amazing. This necklace here is one of my favorites, and it just doesn't tangle, and it's just probably the most wearable, sexy necklaces I've seen in a long time.
70s?
Late 70s.
Yeah.
And it is 18 karat gold, and it's just fantastic.
That is so like Studio 54.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree. I do like the 60s, 70s. I kind of tend to love that time period in furniture and jewelry and dress. But I do appreciate some of the older pieces. What do you think is the oldest piece you have?
So the oldest piece I have would be over there. And yeah, we can go take a peek at it. I've got several pretty old pieces, but the Victorian and Edwardian eras, actually I think this piece here is pretty old. It's definitely old, but it's also really cool.
Wow.
This is from the late 1700s, and it is an old European cut in the center, and the horseshoe, of course, which was really popular then.
Yeah.
And set with the onyx. So this is a really
1700s. Do you remember how that came to you? Or?
So this is actually a piece that came from this little woman who brought me all of her treasures. She was in her 90s, and she was the last of her family line.
Okay, yes.
And this is one of the treasures that was wrapped in tissue paper and a shoebox that had been in her attic since the 1980s.
Wow.
And so, yeah, this is one of our pieces. We have several of her pieces in the store, but yeah, that's a
great one.
Great piece.
So to sum up, to wrap up, our estate sale is going on here at Lumina Gem 10 to 5 today, Thursday the 17th, tomorrow the 18th, and Saturday 11 to 4. 3 days only to hear these wonderful stories, to add to your own collection, and to start conversations all over town with your beautiful estate pieces. So come see us, come see Rebekah this weekend, and we will